Hey everyone, welcome back to the Everton Career Mode. It's Season 1, Episode 14, and we ended off last episode with an absolute banger of a game in the quarterfinals against Red Bull Leipzig, 6-2 boys. And it was just a complete demolishment of this team, especially in the second half. First half, 2-2, and you know what? Props to them because their high line and their press really caused me problems. They scored 2 goals, but you can't be that naive tactically and play a high line with Mina and expect me not to capitalize on this. We have pacey guys. They just torched him. It was an absolute shit show. 8.3 expected goals, and you know what? It could have been more. It was just, you lost before you even started the game. It didn't matter what I did. This was the inevitable outcome. The possession even was there on our part. It was just a complete performance. I mean, look at this. It's just absolute onslaught from us. 13 shots on target. You've got Calvert-Lewin, excellent game, 2 goals, 2 assists. He was everywhere, but look at his build-up play. Like, the average distance on that pass means this isn't short passing. We're passing into space. We're passing into space and we're running at them. And Alan, who better than Alan Saint-Maximin to just run at you, terrorize you, torch you, and that's exactly what he did. Got into the box centrally at that and got a number of shots. It was just a complete dominant performance against Red Bull Leipzig. And it's all but done, I think. I mean, 6-2, but you'd probably pick us to win. Okay, so after that emphatic win, I feel like we can focus a little bit more on the league here in the coming days and weeks, because even though we have that second leg, a 6-2 scoreline, we should probably be able to close it out. Now, we are third in the league, so that's great. 1 point above Chelsea, 3 above Spurs, but we face Chelsea and City next in the league. So we're not going to pick up too many points here realistically. Though I will say this game against Chelsea is probably more pivotal because we're facing against them for top 4 along with Spurs more directly, and it's maybe the easier game. Certainly I love playing against Chelsea in the 3-4-3. I feel like we have a little bit of a success against them. They love that slow build-up play, possession football. You can tell, like, they play around with a lot. They've got those fullbacks, you know, who are pushing up forward slowly in support of all this. And they play a high line, so they won't let you play out. I feel like it's a tactical battle and a grind, and I enjoy that. Now, they're playing Lukaku as a classic stay central target man. They used to play him as a wide target man. Now they're moving him centrally. Then they've got the wingers both cutting inside, allowing those fullbacks to bomb forward into those spaces. So it's a very simple system. Then they've got those 2 central midfielders, those maestros, Jorginho and Conte in the middle. And it's going to be an interesting battle, as always. Now, with Lukaku moving centrally, there's nothing else I can say other than the fact that he is the main threat. If he has a good game, if everything clicks for them, Chelsea's probably going to win this game. And so we need to find a way to neutralize that, and the Lukaku-Koulibaly battle is on, for sure. And I feel like maybe we have an opportunity to take advantage of Thiago Silva. I mean, look at that pace. 37 acceleration, 23 sprint speed. Like, that's pretty poor. I'm not sure why they're playing him. Now, this won't be like Red Bull Leipzig where we're just going to torch them, because they do play a little bit of a different system. 3 at the back. They don't press like maniacs, so it's going to be much different. But maybe we can find a way to bypass him and he won't be up to speed. We'll see. We do have a fitness issue in this game because players are exhausted from that Red Bull Leipzig game. So I'm going to play Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin, and Rafinha despite that. But I'm going to play them probably for a half and then switch them. And we'll see how it goes. It's the strongest squad though, because we need to field our strongest squad against Chelsea and City. And we need to try to pick up something from one of these games at least if we're to stay in this top 4 battle.
Make some noise as we welcome our visitors Chelsea and
We started this game off really well, guys. We were flying, and it wasn't particularly clean. It wasn't maybe the most crisp, but we were getting balls in. We were trying to be dangerous, and we were scrappy. The best thing was that we were winning second balls all over the place, and we were getting half chances, good chances like this. What a volley from Calvert-Lewin and an even better save from Mondi. Off the resulting corner, again we win the second ball. Chelsea gets it back, but we intercept it over here. Guendouzi gets it. It's quick vertical passes in for Richarlison, and it's a post. I don't know how this is not 1-0 yet. And we were all over them, but eventually Chelsea got one chance in this 22nd minute here. Totally against the run of play. Aarons brings the guy down in the box, so unlike him. He doesn't make defensive errors. Lukaku steps up, and it's a formality. It's 1-0, totally against the run of play, and it's sickening because Chelsea were quite frankly pushed right back into their box, and they have one chance and they capitalize on it. But we don't hang our hats. We continue to try to press, and like I said, we were scrappy. We got balls and we were running, got good opportunities here. Richarlison plays around with it again. It's a little bit sloppy, but we throw balls and we're throwing them in constantly, and Calvert-Lewin gets it. He towers over, and it's 1-1, guys. That was a great header from Calvert-Lewin. He rose above everyone to get to that, and it's 1-1, guys, going into the second half. I would probably describe the second half as bland. We had a few opportunities early on because Chelsea were shaky. Mopai put it just over, but for the most part, it was a second half of few chances. There was a lot of midfield battle, a lot of tussles in between Lukaku and Koulibaly, but the odd chance here or there, like this one, Lukaku hits it, it's a deflection, Pickford makes the save. And maybe Chelsea were the slightly better side in terms of possession, and they got one good opportunity here. Lukaku peels away from Koulibaly. He wins the header against Godfrey, I believe that was, and it's 2-1. And it's as simple as that. Lukaku got the mismatch against a defender he can beat in the air. They put it into him, and it's a goal. And Chelsea got a really good chance late. Again, Lukaku, a clever little knock-up here. Gets a really good shot just wide, and that's it. Like I said, there wasn't too many chances, and Chelsea came out with the win. I was disappointed with how we came out in that second half. We really couldn't get anything going, and I know there was a rotation in the squad in the second half. A lot of our key players went out, but I thought that we could have at least kept the draw. Unfortunately, we lose a very important game here against Chelsea. There really isn't all that much to look at in this game. There was a few chances on either side. It was a pretty even game. Chelsea had a little bit more possession because that's their style of play, and both sides had a few actually really quality chances, but not too many. Honestly, Chelsea were just the more clinical side, and they got the 3 points in a critical part of the season. It's unfortunate because we really needed something from this game, but that's how it goes. Now we turn to the Red Bull Leipzig game, and 6-2 in the first game. I mean, they're playing the same system, so I'm gonna gander a guess that there's going to be a lot of similar things happening. There's a lot of wholesale changes for me. Cantwell, Brooks coming in, Mopai and Tony, Rogers, Holgate going to get a run in. So it's going to be a different game. They're also not playing Mina at the back. So even though they're playing that high line, they're not playing a liable Mina, but they're making a number of changes. It's far from their best squad. Correa, Berardi, Moriba in. So it's going to be a different game, but I have a feeling that we'll have some good success against this side as well, because I feel like we're the kryptonite to their system. So we're going to see how it works out, but I'm confident going into this game. We struggled with Red Bull's press early on. We couldn't play out from the back really well. Pickford had to make a few saves, and it was good sustained pressure from the German side. They get a corner, Orban gets to it, it's 1-0. It was good, reminiscent of the first game where they had a really good press and sustained pressure early on, and it paid off. But they overextended just like in the first game. It's 2 vertical passes, guys, 2. Tony gets it, lays it off to Brooks, and Brooksy gets it in. Guys, it's that simple. It's like taking a toy away from a child. It just blows my mind how you can be that naive. And I understand now they're chasing and this is their identity and you're not going to change. And to be fair, when it works, it works. I mean, look at this. Look at this press and the intensity to get that ball back. It's laid off. Pickford has to make a godly save. I have to admit, it works. I play a high line with Valencia, and I know what this is all about, but you really just can't play Mina in these situations. That's my gripe with it mostly. Anyways, 2 posts on this one. We try to clear it. Pickford has to make another save. What is going on in this game? We try to counter. That's my thought always against this team. They recycle it well, and like I said, they move it well in between the lines. 2 passes, it's laid off. A banger into the back of the net, guys. 2-1, and this is very reminiscent now of the second game where it's looking like it could be a multiple goal game, a multiple goal half. And again, look at the acres of space. It's like 3 vertical passes were in. This is insane. Tony lays it off for Phillips, and it's 2-2. This is a carbon copy of the first game. It really is, guys. They have to score 4 goals in the second half. It was unlikely to happen. They did have a few interesting pieces of skill, which I wanted to show. Correa had a nice few flicks, and they were interesting. Takes out the defender, gets a shot, Pickford has to make a save. And off of the resulting corner, he had another even nicer flick here. It's played around, he gets it, and he plays the defender for a fool. I mean, this is really nice. And another save from Pickford. I thought that was cool, I wanted to show it, but really, this half was all about the floodgates opening because we just ran them ragged. I mean, I'm not even going to comment the amount of space I have here. Tony gets it, and it's 3-2. This is ridiculous. It happened in the last game, and it happened again. They don't learn, and I understand they're just going to beat a dead horse with this tactic. I get it. You stick to your philosophy and you go down with your ship. They were scrappy and they got a chance here or there. Pickford had to make a save, but like I said, for the most part, I mean, look at this. We're just countering them and it's just so deadly. I mean, acres of space yet again. Cantwell gets it and he has all the time in the world to read a newspaper, to drink a coffee, and he just chips it over the goalkeeper. It's 4-2, and I mean, at this point, why are you even playing? Like, it is that simple to score against this team. It really is, with the way we play. Tony gets a shot here. He could have laid it off, but he doesn't. Brooksy gets to it, throws it right back into Tony. It's 5-2. Guys, it's 11-4 on aggregate. Like, that is just something else. We continue attacking. I'm not going to give it to them. I'm not just going to stop playing. I mean, look at this. Balls over the top, balls in behind. They are getting torched. They're getting destroyed. Damari Gray gets it, powers it into the back of the net. Guys, 6-2 again. 12-4 on aggregate. One of the historical scorelines of the Champions League. And this is not because, I don't know, the difficulty is easy or the game was over before it started. If you're going to set up like this, especially against me and the way I'm playing, it's kryptonite for them. And we win. And we move on to the semifinals of the Champions League, guys. Wow. This was pretty much a clone from the first game. I mean, Red Bull Leipzig maybe had a little bit more chances, 7.4 expected goals. And we should have had probably more than it says here, 3.9 expected goals. I mean, I feel like all my 6 goals were one-on-ones that were pretty much 100%ers. But anyways, the possession was a little bit more skewed in favor of the German side because we played a really classic counter-attacking side with the wholesale changes that I made. We focused on that and it worked perfectly. We lost a lot of possession, which is expected. It really is a carbon copy of the first game. They had a little bit more chances and were a little bit more lethal. Fair enough. But for the most part, I mean, you can see by the pass map, there's a lot of passes in and around our goal because they played very close to it when they regained possession. And we really didn't have that many passes, but they were all going forward into space, right? Tony, you can see, like, look at the average distance of the pass. Look at the build-up play is very much so focused on countering and laying it off and running, right? Same thing with Cantwell. I mean, like, he's spraying balls here. Brooksy, same thing. It really is a carbon copy of the first game. And 6-2, 6-2. So, not much more to analyze about that. 10.6 million is the prize money we got from this. That's a nice little prize, but the real one is we're in the semifinals, guys. We're in the semifinals of the Champions League. The board wanted semis, and I never believed this was possible. But after getting AC Milan and a favorable tactical matchup against Red Bull Leipzig, we've reached the semifinals, and there is really no bad teams left. We got Liverpool, guys. We got Liverpool in the Champions League. This is going to be one hell of a battle. And then we might face Real Madrid or Juventus. I mean, I don't want to get in front of myself here. We face Liverpool, and that is a tough ask. But this is a rivalry like you've never seen before. I'm relishing this. I am relishing this, but we have to wait. We have to wait. First, we play Man City, guys, and we have to focus on the league because we've already fallen down to 5th. And this is going to be one hell of a game against Man City. The most difficult game. It's at the Etihad, so even more difficult. I mean, what can I say? It's Guardiola, right? Pressure on heavy touch, very high line, slow possession build-up. It's the name of the game. Very similar to how I play on Valencia. If you watch that series, they've got a false 9. Again, very similar. Free roaming wingers. You've got a 3-man midfield with De Bruyne getting forward. You've got fullbacks bombing forward, overloading the wide areas, providing numerical advantages. It's really classic modern football from Guardiola. And you have to watch out for the midfield. That's where we're going to get torched. De Bruyne is just a beast at passing. Rodri covers him and makes sure everything ticks. Now, always you should probably not get outmanned in midfield. So I should really be playing 4-3-3, the variant I used earlier on in the season and especially in the first season. And I've had some success against Man City in the past, but I made a commitment about in December when we were losing that I'm switching to a 4-4-2 and I'm going to go down with it and I'm going to play it against City. And this is tactically not what you should do. I'm admitting it. You shouldn't do this. You should not. But I'm going to try it because it's got me this success and I made a commitment. So I'm going to go with my strongest squad and I'm going to try to attack City and maybe it'll work. I don't think it will, but I'm going to do it anyways.
Enter the field. Here's how Manchester City are lining up.
Okay, so you go into this game with two midfielders against City, and early on, we have a good chance. Ederson tips it onto the post. That was a close one. But after that, City started dominating, and they didn't look back. And the two midfielders, instead of the three, really showed. De Bruyne got it. He smashed it into the back of the net. Maybe if there was an extra midfielder there would be a little bit more solidity. He wouldn't have got the ball. And it's all of a sudden 1-0 at the Etihad. And against a City side, you're going to struggle. When they go up, they're just going to keep the ball and play their football. And I mean, look at this. Acres of space, no dedicated CDM there, and he just blasted in, and it's 2-0, and effectively the game is over. Like, at this point, even before the game, you could have said it's naive. It's naive to play two midfielders against City. You really need three because you're going to get overrun. And I know I said I'll stick to the 4-4-2, but if you really want it to be tactically sound, you don't do that against City, no matter what. But take this as a lesson and see what happens. Anyways, they pile on the pressure, and I don't know how many shots Pickford saved off of corners. It was just ridiculous. And they were piling on the pressure. Every facet of the game was working for them. They were flying, wind in the sails. Pickford made another world-class save there. We tried to get something going, but they were intercepting the balls. Their press was excellent after the possession loss. And Jesus got another goal here, and it's all of a sudden 3-0, and the game is really over. It's so important to get the tactics right, especially when you play dominant teams like City. And they kept pummeling, and here's another chance to end the half. It's just ridiculous. Just take a look at the highlights of the second half and think to yourself, what would happen in each of these situations if there was three midfielders instead of two? Most of the time here, you're going to see City outplay us, outpass us, and there's a lot of space, and if there was just an extra man in midfield, an extra body, they would find it a lot more difficult, and they wouldn't find open chances like this. And then when we get the ball back, we would be able to play out of the press, which they're going to immediately do after possession loss, much easier because you have an extra man. It's just more comfortable. You don't have to rely on just two players. So I feel like against City, a general rule of thumb is play three midfielders. Against any high press, highly dominant possession side, you want three midfielders. Now, we didn't do that. It cost us 4-0. We had one or two chances, as you can see here. Tried to get something back, just a little bit of honor even, but it didn't happen. 4-0, guys. We lost to City. Chances are, even if we played with 4-3-3, we'd lose to City. They're just so dominant and such a good side, and we're just not there yet. And I accounted for this loss, so I'm not too bummed. But we're going to have to do something in the next few games if we're to get top 4. If you look at the stats, it's going to reflect what a whipping we got. They've got the 15 shots on target, 5.7 expected goals. They outplayed us. We didn't have much chances. Actually, if you look at the possession, it wasn't even that bad, but where did we have it? In the middle of the park, at the back of our net. We really didn't threaten them with our possession. On the other hand, they had the position where it counted, and they played around us. The two midfielders is really not the way to go against City. And you can see they worked the ball into the box, and they got shots from inside that penalty area. It's exactly what you want to do. And if you look at the ratings, no one had a good game. Just no one. No one of them, what is that, like all 5? I've never had no one have a 6. That's how bad that game was. They played us off the park. It's that simple. And and I kind of expected to lose this game. And now we're in the position we are in the table. You've got 3 points off of Chelsea. If we win our game at hand, 1 point off of Spurs. I think this is still doable. The remaining 6 games are much easier. I don't think, even a game against the top 6. So you've got a situation where you can plausibly win the games and Chelsea face Spurs. So one of those teams is going to drop points. We have an in to get top 4. We just have to make sure we get as many points as possible. We can't drop anything now. Our next game is against Palace, and this is going to be a revenge match because we lost 5-2 the first game at home. Now we're going to Sellers Park, and we need to do a better job. This is a team which is going to wait for you to make a mistake. They don't sit back as much. They don't go back with 2 banks of 4 and just wait for you deep. They do play with a 60 depth, but their main thing is counter-attacking you when you make a mistake. Fast build-up, forward runs, pace in behind, and try to punish you. And they're set up perfectly to do this in the 4-3-3. It's the perfect counter-attacking formation. You've got Edouard as that target man and Rodriguez staying forward. So you're going to have 2 players constantly forward for that outlet. And then you've got fullbacks who are going to bomb forward the moment they get the ball. And Olise in the center of the park also getting forward, so they're going to try to punish you as quickly as possible. And they have the pace to do it. Rodriguez is very fast. Edouard, so they can be very dangerous. And they showed it in the first game when they won 5-2. So we need to make sure we're solid at the back. I'm going with the strongest squad. There's not too many games in and around now which are important, and we need to pick up as many points as possible. So all we need to remember is to stay solid on defense and play our football. I think we can win this against Crystal Palace. So as you can see, it's our 100th game as Everton manager, and I wanted to make this a win. It was a pretty cagey affair though in the first half. Alan St. Maximin found Richarlison. It was a tame effort. Then Crystal Palace had a corner and we were able to get a counter-attack. I thought it was decent. Richarlison played it back into Alan St. Maximin, who drifted into the center. Calvert-Lewin got it out wide. He tried his luck, but it went just wide. There really wasn't too much in this first half. Palace tried to make things happen and remind us that they're a really good team. Rodriguez gets in and Pickford makes a wonderful save. Neither side really wanted to risk it. There was a lot of counter opportunities. That was a great pass from Aaron Sal and St. Maximin. He skips past one and he should have put it on target. That was a golden chance. And it was cagey until finally Crystal Palace got a breakthrough. Rodriguez puts it over Pickford, and it's 1-0, guys, and that stings because we don't have a lot of time, and we really need this win against Palace. I brought on some subs, most notably Mopai, and we were starting to throw everything we had at Palace. Mopai gets it, he turns, shoots, but it's a save by the goalkeeper. We were mounting the pressure, throwing everything we had. Richarlison, Bices, it's cleared off the line by the Palace player. That would have been a beautiful goal, but we recycle possession. We continue to throw everything we have. We move it around. Tierney gets in on the action, crosses. Rafinha heads the ball here. Mopai over the defender. He smashes it in. 1-1. That's it. Get in. We're going to win this game, guys. Mopai comes in. He's been injured for parts of the season, but he makes things happen. Now he delivers. And we, off of the Palace corner, because they were trying to win this game as well, Gray gets it. He passes it to Aarons. A great diagonal ball. Mopai's onside. He surges into the box. Powers it home. Yes! 2-1. We are salvaging this game against Palace. We were asleep at the wheel for most of this game, but we get the win, guys. 2-1, and this is just a grind for every point to get into this top 4. What a game. Guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. If you like the content, please leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you next time, guys. Laters!